the DPW, as I saw them.
It's all Uncle Dan was alive.
Okay, welcome to the Woburn Traffic Commission meeting on Thursday, September 18th at 4 p.m. I call this meeting to order. I'd like to remind everybody in the room that this meeting is being broadcast, and I'd ask that you please silence your mobile devices. We have 5 old business items and 7 new business items on the agenda today. Diane, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Cashel. Commissioner DeAmbro. Commissioner Duran. Commissioner Jolly. Commissioner Rozicki.
Here.
Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Soccerellis.
Here.
Commissioner Gately.
Here.
Commissioner Papalato.
Here. Here.
Commissioner Cashel. Yeah.
Okay, could we please have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from last meeting on May 15th? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay. Diane, could you please introduce the first agenda item under old business?
Old business, request for a flashing stop sign on Middle Street at the intersection with Mishawam Road.
So is somebody here to represent that item? If you are, please come to the microphone. Nobody's entering, so can we get a motion to push this to the next meeting?
Make a motion to reschedule this request for the next scheduled meeting.
Can we get a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Second item on the agenda, request for traffic safety improvements at the intersection of Merrimac Street, North Maple Street, and East Dexter Ave.
Do we have somebody to represent that item? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address, please.
Jennifer O'Doherty, 20 North Maple Street.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're asking for here?
Just some safety improvements. I don't really know what you could put there. There's a stop sign at the end of East Dexter. There's also one at the end of North Maple Street. But when you're coming off of Merrimac, people just kind of drift onto East Dexter.
Yep. So I think this being old business, I think we can kind of get to what we've done since. This, I will talk about it often, but there's a large amount of intersections in the city that are irregular and not really optimal from a pedestrian or vehicular standpoint. This has gotten onto the Complete Streets list, which is really a priority of our top 25, be it short-term, medium-term, and long-term fixes. I mean, there's potential to bump out the curb, really, that where Matt's cursor is, and the V where the 2 streets meet, but we could do paint and stuff like that, but other than ripping up a new road that was recently paved, which is not really an appetite for the community typically, there's not really a quick fix other than changing the layout of the road, and then we'd have the issue with the buses behind it, which would be kind of stuck in no man's land if we did make changes. So, I mean, for now, I think it's on a list of potential improvements that we keep relative, and we meet quarterly with our consultant. I mean, we have an idea, but the idea really is to make that less of a two-way intersection and more of a one-way in, one-way out. Right now, it's kind of a 4-way intersection combined down to 2. It's probably just not the most unsafe intersection that we're going to prioritize today, though. So it's on the list, and if there's a short-term fix that the professionals can find, I'd be open to doing it. It's just with how new the road is and other issues that are probably a higher priority. I don't have a timeline, but I think you raise a good point, and it's something that is on our list, and it probably will be there for review and consideration moving forward.
Okay.
Chair? Alex, remember before we adjourned for the summer, we did spend some time
Yep.
with certain configurations that may work on this, so I just want you to know, we definitely are working on it, but it's not something that can be done overnight. But we're totally aware of the safety issues associated with this that you described earlier.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we can share it for the next meeting so you can see it through the record, but we have a PowerPoint of our complete streets layouts and proposed crosswalk improvements. And we do have sort of a design on paper that we can look at. I don't know if it really, in order to get up to the street on the right, you're gonna have to come to a complete stop, make a right and go around. So there's drawbacks to all that. But I'm happy to share the two ideas that we have without a timeline to implement them. That's probably where we're at for now. I think with all the stuff going on in North Woburn, if there was ever a potential for a sidewalk to go in on Merrimac Street, that would be the time to attack this problem. If you could just shorten up the handicap crossing there across Merrimac. Unfortunately, there's a utility pole running down the entire sidewalk on the other side, but that would be the time to address this. If we had a couple curb bump outs and things like that we were doing in the city, it could be one that we could pick up, at that time.
Okay, any other comments? Lou?
As a council of the ward, I've also, am I under the understanding, Alex, that there could be potentially utility lines being brought down Merrimac Street at some time, gas, possible electric through Eversource. And I'm just wondering, being this is also on the complete street list, and I would strongly recommend we go that route. Lines don't seem to work. Painted lines, to divert traffic and have people, it doesn't seem to work. Once they get used to seeing it, they just drive right over it. And it's quite evident up on Salem and Beach Street. You can actually see the lines that have been worn right off because people just drive right over them. I do realize that there is a little bit of a speed problem there because people heading westerly on Merrimac Street shoot right up East Dexter. And it is definitely a safety concern. But being that area was just freshly paved and that this intersection is on complete streets, plus with possible utility work coming down Merrimac Street in the future, that's probably when they're going to tie this all together, and they're going to do it and probably design it and do it right with the proper design and the proper construction in order to eliminate and accommodate what needs to be done there.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Can we get a motion on how to address this?
I think we can resolve this for now and state that it has been, it's currently on our radar, it's under review, and it'll be part of the Complete Streets update or the Complete Streets program moving forward. So I think it's been resolved, or without action. Is that how would I put that?
Make a motion to place it on.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for the group before we move on?
No.
Yeah, I just want to try to emphasize, to make sure you really understand, we do recognize the issues up there. They have been brought to the attention of the Traffic Commission, and that particular intersection is on the list for traffic improvements. And once it gets through the list and location it's at now in that list, it'll be implemented, but it's not going to happen, anytime soon. But we're aware of it.
Okay, got it.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.
Third item on the agenda, request for speed bump or one-way traffic on High Street.
Here's the petitioner in the room. Look like it, so can we get a motion to move this to the next meeting?
In an effort to just not have another meeting with 12 items, can we just recap where we are on this? Because I think we denied the one-way traffic request. And I think Public Works is vehemently against the speed bump. So I don't know if we need to table this any further. I think we can probably resolve this if we want to recap where we're at.
I would agree with that, yeah.
I'll agree with it also, and the speed, in regards to the speed, The average speed is 15 miles an hour. So there's really not a speed, and we did selective enforcement up there with no results.
Okay, so I think,
I was going to say, Mr. Chair, we've discussed these speed bumps previously at other meetings. I don't think we've come to a policy regarding them, an official policy, but I think the city's leaning towards that. We wouldn't actually think about seriously implementing speed bumps along our right-of-ways, our public right-of-ways, unless it was absolutely needed and it was an emergency situation that couldn't be improved upon without the introduction of speed bumps. Because, I see these being implemented, and it's all right for local traffic. Everybody, knows it's there. But I'm sure everybody here has experience going over one of these things, not aware of it. They can cause some serious accidents in that regard, so.
I think we've been clear on the desire to not have speed bumps, and, it comes from Jay across the board.
Yeah.
So I do agree with that.
Yeah, so, just want the public to be aware that, that might be a knee-jerk reaction to somebody wanting to slow down traffic, but there are other issues when these are public rights-of-way, open to the public, and, not every Joe Q public that's driving down these roadways, realizes the speed bump is in the way, or, they're going to be running over it.
So how do we want to disposition this? Do we want to
I think we can put this one on file as well.
file? Do we have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Fourth item on the agenda, request for autistic child signage near 109 Green Street.
Is the petitioner in the room? Okay, could you come to the microphone and state your name and address, please?
Iris Jackson, 109 Green Street.
You want to talk about what you're attempting to do here?
I have triplets that have autism. Autism is a spectrum, not a disability. And I built the fence, they climb it. I have no safety for them. Actually, my neighbor, Carter, I live where the white truck is, right there. Just to speed on Green Street and things like that. I don't even know what else to say.
Have you, I think we left this that, I felt that this was not a traffic commission decision. Have you talked to any other boards, the disability board?
I thought we left that you guys were gonna ask the disability commission first. I got 2 verdicts when I left, passed and, whatever the word is, for denial. So I wouldn't be here if it was that.
Sorry, I was trying to read the meeting minutes. Did you say you did go to the disability board, or you were expecting us to go?
Well, I thought that's what was said the last time, from my knowledge, from my understanding. I'm Spanish, maybe I misunderstood, but we left at 100 feet from my house, things like that, so that's, if it's a no, then just say it, I won't come back, I don't know, but like, I think it should be a little slow down there, like, it says 30 miles, they go like 40, 50. You put disabled for blind, so I will need a blind, a deaf, and a handicap. My babies have no understanding of the world around them. They won't understand a horn to stop, sir.
Yeah,
I can protect them so much with fences. You only give me 4 to 6 feet fence here. I need to put a inside playground for my babies. That's my next meeting that I'll be here, if I can close it up into a garage. She's in danger. I told you if you needed paperwork from doctors, you said no the last time. I can bring a booklet from the Children's Hospital and everywhere.
You're
She's
kind
in
of coming
danger.
after me here. I'm trying to
No, I
be
know, but,
respectful and helpful, but
always.
I don't think this is something that the traffic commission should be deciding, the town policy on signs like
So
this.
that's why we said we would take it to the disability.
Have you gone to them?
I thought you guys were.
I don't even know who the disability board is.
The gentleman that was here the last time, I don't know if it was him, he found the sign, it is a legit sign for the road. I didn't invent the sign. Other state have it. the sign won't stop them, but if I had one baby, I wouldn't be here. I have 3, and one is out of control. She's only 3. What am I? Like I said, you give me 4 to 6 feet. She climbs the rock wall, whatever it is, and then the fence. Like, I would have to do an in-ground playground for her. Will that be acceptable from you guys? Can I close up the playground?
I'm just the
That's
traffic
the only
commission.
way I can keep my baby
Playground
safe.
commission.
So,
I think if, I'm looking back at the minutes as well, and I think there was some kind of communication out to the Commission on Disability to determine what the sign would say. That's where it was left.
Sure.
And Diane, I don't think that Lindsay heard back.
We have not heard back from disability.
So I do think we made a motion to have us install a proper sign,
install it 100 feet.
but we didn't agree on what the sign would say, and that's where the Disability Commission would, Commissioner of Disability would weigh in, and they haven't yet. That's kind of where that landed.
Sure. You're not going to get a no from me. We've obviously never installed this sign. We don't have it. So if the disability board would like that sign put up, then we'll instruct Public Works to put it up.
Excuse me, sir. Do we call for like deaf, blind, do we call the disability departments to put those up? Because there are plenty of those
The
all
handicap
around.
commission would.
I would need 3. It will cost more than than the autistic. Like I said, they have no recognition. It's that I want to cry. Like they just elope. The word is elope. They leave. They're not the flappy, tippy toe type of girls. These girls climb the roof of my house if I let them.
Mr. Chairman, do we have your contact information?
Lady, I gave my number last time.
Yeah, so what we need to do is talk with Lindsay, see if the letter was sent out, if the handicap commission is working on something like this, or not something like this, but this particular
No, don't
request.
worry.
And then, once we find out what they're going to do with it, then we can communicate that to you. And if it has to come back here, we'll deal with it then, but we don't have an answer for you today.
No, and
Unfortunately.
Okay, as long as it's like I feel like the ball's moving for something to be done. Other than that, I probably will be here to put the playground, like, with no light, no building, just lock it up, because I can't be in the playground with 3 babies, and one just wants to take off all the time. I'm gonna have to close them in.
But to your point, I think that's the right
I
approach.
don't have no more safety. I spent
Can we get another
$48,000.
correspondence out to the Commission on Disability, and then I'll reach back out to you. I have your contact information as well, and I'll let you know where we're going. But I think we agreed that we would like to see a sign out there, just a matter of what the signage would be, what it would say on the sign. Okay? So can we have a motion to put that onto the record?
Motion to send a communication to Commission on Disability, as well as to Superintendent Duran. Sign to be installed at 109 Green Street.
So you specifically want autistic child sign, not slow children at
Because
play? Because
autism
we could
is-
put a slow child at play
You could put a
sign.
disabled child, but it don't mean autistic is the spectrum, so a lot of people know that kids can just run out a lope, or some kids will be flipping, they're
But I think
flapping.
if you request a slow child at play sign, I think those exist in the city. We're not creating a new
You're not
procedure.
creating a new one with the autism. it's
Okay,
in
I'm
the
saying
rules.
those signs don't exist today, so we are setting a new protocol, a new procedure for any child who may be autistic. You are making a very specific request. I'm saying if your request is a little more general and something we've dealt with before, we'd be happy to move it forward faster.
Would a sign that says handicapped child go slow work? Okay, I think that's,
That's what I'm trying to
okay.
get
I
to.
think I think you guys are just
That they
not
could be a kid
communicating.
that's just gonna run up.
Okay, no, we're aware.
But
they can't see.
she hasn't been happy with handicap.
You're not happy with a handicapped child?
I said a handicap, a deaf and a blind, because they have no recognition of the world, but I'll be happy with something that.
I think we want to put a
that
sign
maybe
up.
won't stop the cars, but I'll have a little peace in my heart when I'm outside.
I think we're happy to put a sign up. I just think we want to find the right sign that we can put up as fast as possible. That's what we're trying to work out here.
And I think the Handicap Commission should be the ones that, the Commission on Disability should be the one
child
to make that
handicap,
decision.
let them know that they're, toddlers, they're 3 years old, that they're toddlers, that they're just gonna take off, and the car won't see them because they're really short, so that's a catastrophe. If they were 7, 8, if I had one baby, I wouldn't be here. The car won't see them.
Okay,
They're
so
this little.
I'm gonna make a motion for the handicap or the disability commission to decide on the appropriate signage per the request here.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All, any opposed? Okay, that passes. So we'll do what we just said we would do, and someone, me or someone will reach back out to you
Yeah,
and give you the information.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Item, agenda number 5, request to discuss automation of full and self-serve drive.
Is the petitioner in the room? State your name, address, and tell us about what you're...
Ken Parley, 5 Merrimac Street, North Woburn. Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time. I have a supervised self-driving vehicle, and as I've had it for about 6 months now, I'm starting to realize what it's doing pulling into neighborhoods. I drive pretty slow, 20 miles an hour in a neighborhood. Hey, you know, just as any. You can set differentials. It does see signs. I see the automation come in, but I'm consistently pulling into neighborhoods, shutting it down. Now, I'm bringing this to attention because I anticipate I'll probably be spending some time with my friend Lou DeMambra on this from time to time, is trying to figure out a way to recognize and or come up with a solution so that as this keeps popping up, I feel like I'm the tip of the spear on this, where there's going to be more people with this technology that aren't going to care and be shutting it off and going 27 miles an hour down Ashburton Ave, which I think's a problem. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I had a moment in time, and I wanted to reintroduce myself to this body because I haven't been here since 2018. So, thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Yes, sir. Mr. Cashel, how you doing?
Go ahead.
This intrigues me.
Yes, sir.
So you have one of these self-driving cars?
Correct.
Right. Now, it's legal, I assume? To program
Supervised.
this thing, drive down the road.
Supervised, right?
To the driver,
Correct.
you have to be behind the wheel,
Yes, sir.
not in the back playing around with them, right? You are responsible under the law, and we have a police officer here that's part of this commission.
Yeah.
You have to be in control of this vehicle at all times. You're
Correct.
not letting this thing run around by itself, are you?
Correct. Well,
If anything happens, it's not the car, it's you. You're the
Correct.
driver. You're responsible under the law to be in
Correct.
charge of that car and
Yes,
knowing
sir.
what it's going to do at all times.
correct.
Okay. I just
Correct.
wanna-
And I wasn't trying to.
Scaring us.
Well, it's coming. I will leave my home.
Yeah.
And I can go miles without touching the steering wheel
For you,
or gas pedal.
nothing happens.
Well, I think when you're in it, John, and you experience it, you're gonna slowly realize where you're like, I'm surprised I've been driving this long.
Yeah, well, I know Elon Musk has already tried to do this, and it's failed and caused all kinds of accidents all over the place, so it's not ready for prime time.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. She's-
Correct. But I believe when I see the technology interacting with signage, and sometimes I see where I'll see a sign that's 20, sometimes it goes gray. So I'm just bringing to your attention that I believe there might be tools.
It doesn't drink alcohol while it's driving, does it?
Okay.
John, I'm not trying to make a joke out of this,
No,
all
I
right?
am, because I think it's funny that you're telling us about safety issues that you're responsible for.
Yeah.
Okay, you're responsible for. Does everybody agree with what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like, not this gentleman, but this could open a door for people driving impaired, but they're not driving. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you, sir, no.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just,
We gotta be aware and have some sort of precedence.
I'm seeing it and it's shutting down. And what data that Tesla receives, they don't share it publicly. Google does. They have APIs to kind of show mileage, which way you're going when, and all these other things. Tesla doesn't share it. So when my FSD does go down my street, I'm unaware of the data it's getting. I can only see the data that's on the screen. But sometimes I'll go into neighborhoods and it does see data and it will go 20 miles an hour. I'm just bringing this to your attention because it's coming. This is the tip of the spear and there's a solution. And as these people keep coming, I'm just hoping that we have a response.
Yeah. Through the chair, Officer Gately,
Yes.
is the police department aware of this issue he's talking about? Are we being prepared?
First I've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, in the meantime.
Yeah,
before this-
it's not an issue until it's an issue, right,
Yeah.
John?
Well,
And
until, through the chair, I still have the floor, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, until technology catches up with your driving skills and that of your automated vehicle, I would just use common sense and make sure that you know what it's doing at all times, because you're the one that's gonna be held responsible. And until we get the green light that these things can actually do what they're supposed to be doing without killing people, and our pets and every other living creature, because we don't do a great job ourselves driving, and these things certainly,
I'm
aren't
expressing to
are
you,
not to
John,
the
that we
point
are
where-
smarter than the computer right now. And that I believe there could be instruments that we provide to ensure that we're keeping an eye out for these neighborhoods, because I'm the guy with kids and whatnot. There's kids that are gonna be 18, 19 with this technology, and they're gonna go at it. So I just wanted to start the conversation. I know you guys got a lot on your plate. You got 0 to, a million problems, but I thought it was worth discussing and bringing up and
Mr.
making you
Chairman,
aware.
I don't have any more concerns, I'm just saying.
Nope, I just wanted to make you aware, because as I start seeing the litany of complaints and stuff, I just wanted to
Yeah,
bring it up, all right?
sounds great.
Appreciate it.
That's it, I just wanted to bring it up. Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate your
Are
time.
there any other comments from the commission?
No.
All right, well, thank you for presenting that and putting it in front of us. There's no action to be taken on this, it's more communication.
Make a motion, put it on file.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. So-
First item on the agenda under new business, a request for a three-way stop sign at the intersection of Nashua Street and Draper Street.
Is the petitioner in the room? Thanks for coming out. Can you just let us have your name and address and tell us what you'd like?
Sure, my name's Carl Pasciuto. I live at 56 Tremont Street in Woburn. I'm also the owner of the Custom Group and National Street Realty at 30 Nashua Street, which is directly at the intersection of Nashua Draper and the horseshoe that Nashua turns. I've been running a business on Nashua Street since 1986 in Woburn. I'm a longtime resident. And back, maybe 20 years ago, that used to be a quarry down there. And I had to deal with dump trucks running up and down Nashua Street all the time. But since it's been developed down there, now there's gyms and Lord Hobo breweries down there. Nashua Street's become a drag strip. Legitimately, my office is 20 feet from the street. All day long, they're ripping cars and motorcycles, popping wheelies up and down the street. It's just it's become a problem. One of the businesses I do have at 30 Nashua Street, and it's expanding. The Navy has just issued a huge grant for us to expand our welding program in our school. So we have students in the parking lots at the corner of Nashua and Draper and where Nashua turns to the right. Those students commute back and forth, they come in and out, and a couple of them almost been hit by cars screaming up and down the street. And when I'm not talking 20, 30 miles an hour, I'm talking about 50, 60 miles an hour going up and down Nashua Street really fast. And I see you walking over there all the time, so,
From the chair,
yeah,
I walk
I know
that-
you know what I'm talking
walk
about.
that street every day.
Through the chair,
and
Matt, can you bring it up on Google Maps? I think we're familiar with the request.
Cars are definitely flying down that road. I'm not sure what the solution would be, but we need.
So I get the gist that speed bumps are not a good solution to any of these problems. I live in that area. I live on Tremont Street. It's literally 3-minute walk from where I'm talking about. So you see that interstate battery car is right there. That's my parking lot. Looking down the street where the cursor is pointing, that heads toward Montville Avenue. Behind this intersection right here, Nashua Street actually makes a right turn and makes a horseshoe back up onto Green Street. Draper Street continues straight. It's kind of weird. Nashua Street turns to the right and Draper goes straight ahead. On Nashua Street, facing my building, there is a stop sign. You can actually see the stop sign right there. I'm proposing we put a stop sign on the end of Draper Street and one on Nashua Street on the other side, so it becomes a 3-way stop sign here, and it'll force them to slow down. It's about I would say a good quarter mile from Lord Hobo Brewery. They come screaming up this street and they get a good head of steam, especially at 3:30 in the afternoon when all of the employees down the end of Draper Street get out of work. They come flying up the street. And the summertime, there's been a couple of close calls with motorcycles on that street, actually riding one wheel all the way up. And he didn't quite navigate the end of Montville real well at that high speed. So as a longtime resident and owner of that building, that whole section on the right-hand side, if you can look at that picture, that whole section on the right-hand side where Interstate Battery was, that's going to be, that's actually been commissioned. I got the funding this morning. There's a $7 million renovation going into that building for the Navy. And we're going to be teaching ship welding for the submarines and stuff in Rhode Island.
Yeah, well, I spoke to Sergeant Stokes, he's the sergeant of the Traffic Bureau. He's opposed to the stop sign, but I have no problem going over there and doing some enforcement to help you out. You just tell me where would you like me to sit, you know what I mean, what, like a
You
good
can
look.
park anywhere you want in my parking lot. It wouldn't be the first time Woburn PD's been.
Yeah.
I've made several calls.
Reason he was against the stop signs you're requesting is, and I haven't, and I had that beat for years, was I've never been to a crash over there on that intersection. I haven't even heard one over the air while I've been working, and, but I have no problem.
It's not about crashes.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There haven't been crashes. This is,
Just to slow people down, right?
it's speed. It's legit speed. They get a good head of steam coming up from the bottom of Draper.
We have had complaints of kids racing, so I agree with you. I agree with you, and what I can do is, there's 3 of us that go out. I'll give it to the sergeant, and we'll just periodically get over there and get some enforcement.
Yep.
I
You're
am-
more than welcome to use my parking lot to,
Right, you just want to find a good spot, like if the
yeah,
problem
right.
is
That
it-
whole parking lot's wide open during the day.
it's coming up from, towards Montville at the end of the day,
Yeah, especially around 3 o'clock.
that's.
3
all
o'clock
right.
in the afternoon, there's a company down the bottom there, I think they do renovations or cleanouts or something. They have to, their staff must leave at 3:30, 3 o'clock, and they come screaming up the street.
Okay, so 3 o'clock?
I'm also, as a city engineer, I'm intrigued by the idea. I think, we typically don't install stop signs to stop traffic. That one kind of gives people a false sense of security that someone may stop and they cross the road. We don't really have like a sidewalk or a heavy pedestrian area, so I'd like to start with selective enforcement. As you're doing your renovation, and we talk about maybe getting a curb line in or a sidewalk and more pedestrians in the area, it might make sense, but we typically won't put stop signs just for speed.
So one of the other issues is if you're coming towards my building on Nashua Street, there's a house right on the corner on the lower left-hand side of the screen. Right there, that house. They typically park their cars along that hedge line. So when they park their cars along the hedge line, if you're coming out of Nashua Street towards my building, and I do it every morning, there's always 2 or 3 cars on Draper Street right in front of that hedge line. If you're pulling out, you can't see someone coming up Draper because of the cars are parked alongside this area. Now, I'm not objecting to people parking on the street, but it gets very dangerous, especially in the morning. The school buses go by there as well, and it's hard to see. That's why I said if there was a stop sign on Draper Street, even if it's not a 3-way stop, but if there's a stop sign at the corner of 2 Draper Street there, at least the people coming up Draper to go on to Nashua have to stop to let the traffic on Nashua go.
Yeah, and I think you could sit right behind that building and pick them off all day long.
Oh, yeah, you get them.
But, you know, part of the issue with Draper Street here is you guys have no formal parking lot entrance or exit. If you formalized your parking lot and had an exit, we could put a stop sign so people can get out, but you could drive all over. It looks like a 10-lane highway from here, you know.
No, but we can't do anything between Draper, 2 Draper and 30 Nashua.
I meant like with that
There's a
parking
paper
lot.
road in the middle. That's not our property. That's city
Well,
property.
yeah, what I'm saying is it makes it hard for us to formalize a place to stop because there's so much, I mean, those people who are parking in the parking lot up there,
Right, but you
They-
see
they
that
could just
pickup
pull
truck that's in the picture there?
yeah.
That's on town, that's a road. That's not my property, and it's not 2 Draper Street's property. There's a road there. It's city property.
Gotcha. So what I'm saying is if all of the people using that parking lot were coming in and out of the same place,
Yep.
a stop sign would help people pull out.
Oh, absolutely.
But it doesn't seem like they need to do that because the whole parking lot's flush and level with the street.
Correct.
So if the impetus and in addition changes the way the parking lot flows, that could be another potential reason to take further action. But I think at this point, I think I would recommend selective
Yeah,
enforcement.
no problem. I'll definitely give it to my sergeant. We're gonna run some numbers. We have, showed Mr. Popolato we have a GPS, tracking data collector, and it counts the cars and the speeds, the highs, the lows, the best times
Yep.
they are, and it'll tell me the average speed over there, and it'll either reinforce what you're saying or it's gonna debunk it, but I'm not doubting you. I have heard complaints of, kids ripping up and down there, so, like I said, I'll give it to me and the other 2 guys. We'll get over there.
Perfect, and like
Okay,
I
so
said,
can we get a motion on that, just so we have that recorded?
I'll make a motion to have the Woburn PD do some selective enforcement and place this on file.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Woburn PD has my permission to use the parking lot.
Yeah, I'll probably be there tomorrow morning around, after school goes into session. I'll swing, if I go, if
All
nothing
in favor
changes.
here? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
That
Thank you for your
passes.
time.
Thank you very much.
Second item on the agenda, request for flashing school zone sign at the corner of Central Street and Montville Ave.
Is the petitioner in the room? Say your
Good
name and
afternoon.
address, please.
Robert Toro, 12 Frank Street Court. I am here in front of you as both a resident but also one of the city councilors. Over on Montville Ave, heading west on Montville Ave towards Main Street, like a little before that, Matt. Yeah, where the TD Bank is, I think over in that area.
Go up, go towards the highway. One more click. Yep.
Turn around. Prior to the widening project, there used to be a flashing school zone sign right before, kind of in the TD Bank area before the Goodyear School. When the widening project took place, it was taken down and never put back up. Being a parent that has children there and driving Montville Ave all the time, speed there's an issue. Obviously, we have a school there. Our representative here on the police, for police, I think can attest to it because I see him doing traffic speed enforcement there, and there's a line of cars, both Officer Gately and Officer Pacheco pulling people over, which is fantastic. But with the merge right there, you know, people are jockeying for position, trying to get in front. Obviously, we have the school there. It was there before. I'm not really sure why it wasn't put back in after the widening project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So-
what's there and it's not there now.
Yes.
Nate, when, I believe it was DNR construction widened the road, I either got knocked down, removed, and they just never replaced it.
Yeah.
This has been going on for a couple of years.
Spoke to the principal. I spoke to the police. They seemed to be in favor of it. I spoke to the principal at the Goodyear. I've spoke to other parents. And again, driving down that street, Councilor Papalato, you're in that area as well. It certainly is not going to hurt. Is it going to prevent people from speeding? No, but can it help? You know what I mean? I know personally there's the speed sign on Green Street, you know, coming down from the center down this way near where I live in. I catch myself sometimes going a little faster than I should and slowing down. You know, when I see the sign, I don't want Officer Gately to pull me over. So I'm here to request or a review of that, and then if it were to be passed, then we'd have to try to find the funding to install that, you know, amongst I think the council.
Thoughts from the commissioner?
Yeah, I'm quickly in favor of this going back. I don't know the background on why it wasn't put back. We talked about it a bit internally. Either it was taken out and didn't work, so it didn't get put back, or it got lost in the shuffle, but we should have one there. It's just going to be a matter of finding one. I propose using the ones that are at the Herald School, the school's no longer there. Just a matter of coordinating and finding the money to get it back, you know, but I would be fully in support of this. It's difficult to know you're in a school zone if you don't know there's a school there. You're on Mount Vale Ave. You wouldn't think the speed limit's 20.
Commissioner DeMambro?
Gotten some of us, obviously.
Through the chair to the engineer, those are hardwired in. Shouldn't there be some sort of a hardwired box or some sort of a box in that ground? If they had removed it, there's a hardwire that wires those in. I'm just wondering if there is some sort of utilities already existing, and to your point, it got lost in the shuffle, they never put it in, it was a skip. But my question is, where's that wire?
I'm going to guess that the sidewalk took it out. When there used to be a handhold or a box there, the sidewalk got poured, and the person doing the sidewalk poured over it, got rid of it. And unfortunately, what probably happened with that utility pole, I don't know if the utility pole's moved, but obviously the utility pole's in a different spot now, so the power from that sign likely came from a conduit with the utility pole, so it's going to have to be reinstalled.
Is there the other sign in the opposite?
There is.
There, it is up?
Yeah.
It's existing as we speak?
Yeah, if Matt goes up on the left, I drive that way going home. There's so much I could talk about Mount Vale. I mean, the amount of people who take and drive through that left lane as people are jockeying on, you see on the screen, and take the left lane and go straight is every day, all day long. I really wish we got 2 lanes further east into the city, past where the car dealership, or a Form 2 lane sign. There's so much to do here, but if we just start with the school sign, yes, and the other one is still there. I don't know if it works, but it's there.
Anybody else have any comments? Yeah.
I'll make a motion to have the school speed limit flashing sign reinstalled as funds, budget, and availability allows.
Second. And
Favor?
actually on the motion, shouldn't we take and research the contractor that did the work? Because if there were funds that were allocated to replace what was already existing, so that it's not a burden to the city, shouldn't we take and check back with them and say, at least, you know, put out a communication to them to say, where'd this sign go, and why didn't you just replace it, and where's that box that's the wiring is in? I think maybe we should reach out to the
We can.
contractor.
I'm sure that contract is closed and it's been paid out, but we can attempt to circle back with them. I mean, we'll click through 2019 and 2018 and see if we could see where it went, but I think everything moved, and there could have also not been money in the contract to relocate hardwired signs, and that's maybe why it didn't get done, because it wasn't a bid, that's a pretty specific bid item, to remove, rewire, and there's a paving company, not an electrician company, so
Is there such a thing as maybe a solar?
we're going through that as well. In a school zone, the new regulations, I believe, require hardwire. Solar are okay otherwise, but I believe this has to be hardwire.
Hardwire? Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so do we want to amend that motion or make a second motion on the funding?
Amended to send out a communication to the contractor that did the work, just to find out where the sign went and if they know anything about it and why it wasn't replaced, and then just attach it to the motion.
And do we have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Third item on the agenda, request for signs, signals, stop lights, speed bumps, and speed traps at 113, 115 Salem Street.
Is the petitioner in the room? No. Discussion from the group.
Yeah, I think we should just discuss it rather than having, again, 20 items on it.
We ran data on the area of 115 Salem. Speed limit's 35. 95% of the people are doing under 39 miles an hour. The average speed is 32 miles an hour there. Again, and I've also done selective enforcement in that area. Wasn't very active.
Yeah, so just to follow up on that.
Just a busy road.
The city this is probably one of our top priorities for intersection and pedestrian improvements, from basically Memorial on Salem down to Bow and Beach. This is an area we have put up additional signs. We are possibly going out to the public for additional feedback and a potential project down the road. So I would just put this one on file and say, we are aware of this intersection and potential improvements may be forthcoming at a later date.
Isn't that the form of a motion?
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody else have any commentary on that? Go ahead.
So there's a lot of pedestrians that use both sides of the roadway there. When you're walking along a road with a lot of traffic, and I walk along Lexington Street, when you're a pedestrian, you're always aware of the vehicles, and it always appears that they're driving faster than they actually are. When you're in the car, you're usually going within that range of the speed limit. But you don't notice the pedestrians being so aware, of you. So it's one of those things. The sidewalks are right beside a heavily traveled roadway. And Dana, as you're pointing out, 95% of the people are within a reasonable speed limit. So it may be an illusion more than anything else. I experience it when I walk along busy roadways. I think the traffic is going faster, but it really isn't. It's just that I'm on two legs and I'm walking down the road. And when you're driving the car, you're not speeding. It's just that people, when you're walking, you do notice cars going by. And, most of the time you're just hoping that they stay in their lane. We know enough to try to stay on the sidewalk, but, you just want to make sure it's a safe pedestrian vehicle corridor. So, your data's pointing out it's a lot safer than what's being reported.
Correct.
So motion to place it on file, noting that adjacent intersections are being reviewed currently.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Item number 4, request for curb painting for no parking at 60 Salem Street.
Petitioner in the room? Does not look it. Let's take the same approach with that. Let's have a discussion and try to disposition it.
Way? Or behind you? It's tough. They made their house impossible to see on Google. Do we allow parking on Salem Street?
Yes.
There's a gap in the coverage because of this blurred out house, so.
Yeah. I think we can table this one for our next meeting. I mean, I think generally we would like to hear why they think that this particular house shouldn't have parking. I mean, we can reiterate between a crosswalk and an intersection, but unless they abide by that, I don't see why we would.
No, they've always parked on Salem in front of, what it is, a lot of it's rental property. It started off as a single-family home, now they chopped them up, and multiple people move in, and they all have cars, and it's just the way it is.
So do we want to table it, or do we want to make a motion to deny?
Any other comments? Mr. DeMambro?
I just feel if somebody's blocking someone's driveway, correct me if I'm wrong, Officer Gately, would they?
But they can be
call-
cited for that. They call the police, we go there, we put a ticket on it for blocking the driveway. Parking within, I think it's 10, I don't know how many feet it is offhand. If you're blocking the driveway, it can be cited. You don't have to paint,
and
you know what I
Officer
mean?
Gately,
I think
just-
those houses, I'm almost guarantee you that those houses have a lot of people living in them.
And just for my clarification, do you request a tow service to come and tow that vehicle if it's,
If they're blocking the entire driveway, we would tow it.
Or a portion
But
of it.
typically, you know, we'd probably assist them getting out, whatever. A lot of it's, when this happens, is neighbors just fighting with each other.
blocking their driveway, they can?
You just call the police. Been doing it.
Police department and they
Yeah.
can send as well as call for a tow company if it is obstructing their driveway. I think that should be, maybe they don't know that, but I think that's better than painting.
Yeah, I just worry that if we get into the business of painting
Painting
every
curb.
curb to protect driveways,
curb
the
everywhere.
whole city's gonna be yellow, so I'm in favor of denying the request and having them continue to call the non-emergency line.
Commissioner Cashel?
Yeah, Matt, can you do a bird's eye? I mean, that ground, that street level, made Salem Street look a lot narrower than it actually is, for whatever reason, but, zoom down a little bit, please. Yeah, so, I mean, you're not really getting a clear view of Salem Street with that photo, but Salem Street's a lot wider than the street view gave us. Here we go. Just see if we can find a car parked along and traveling.
The request is that their driveway is blocked and they.
Yeah.
That's probably the best bet.
Yeah, so it's not an issue of people parking on either side of Salem. It's just people parking in front of someone's driveway, which is,
I mean, that's just a police incident. It's not something we deal with it
Yeah.
routinely.
No.
And just through the chair, just, even if you were to paint it yellow,
Still gonna park
and
there.
they still park there.
People parking on no
they're gonna
parking
have to-
signs every
They're gonna
day.
have to call the police department anyway, so
Right, so I think
I
we.
just think we should.
All right, can we get a motion on dispositioning this?
I'll make a motion to deny the request and put it on file.
Do you have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Fifth request for pedestrian control flashing crossing walk signs or pedestrian crossing signs at the intersection of Wynn Street and Franklin Street.
Is the petitioner in the room? Good afternoon. Can you just state your name and address, please?
Cheryl Stewart, 40 Franklin Street.
Can you let us know what you'd like, what's your request there?
So that that crosswalk on Wynn Street, where Franklin Street intersects, is very dangerous. And lots of people from my neighborhood cross that street to go to the playground and the library. And when I was crossing in July with my 2 grandchildren, we were hit by a car. And that's the first time we've been hit, but there have been many close calls, so I wanted to request that we have some kind of pedestrian sign on both sides of the sidewalk. I noticed when I come out of Franklin and go down Wynn Street towards the fire station, all of the crosswalks have those yellow signs. And so I think it might help. People go pretty fast down Wynn Street, but maybe not as fast as I think they are because of what this gentleman just said. But it's a dangerous intersection because even when people stop, sometimes people will go around the car that stopped and come so close to hitting us. And I'm very cautious. I'm thinking actually of getting a orange flag or something and waving it as I cross the street. But I actually haven't crossed that intersection since the accident. And so I'm here to ask if you can put something up to make people aware that there's a crosswalk.
So now that we understand the intersection, are you inquiring about the crossing of Wynn or the crossing of Franklin?
Wynn.
And the request is looking for a flashing crosswalk sign, which is an RFB, the flashing beacons.
Well, that would be nice, but I
I'm
mean, at
just-
the minimum,
I'm asking if that's the request or you're just asking for a crosswalk sign.
could I get the flashing one?
I don't have the answer to that. We are putting many in. I was
Yeah.
going to ask Mr. Cashel if this happens to be on the list. If it's not, we can look into it. I don't have an issue with putting a crosswalk sign here, but if it's going to be flashing, I think there's certain amount of traffic and data that we look.
Yeah.
The problem it becomes when we put out 55 flashing beacons, they sort of lose their effectiveness because people are so used to flashing beacons. So we've identified a dozen or so spots already.
Is this one of the spots or no?
No, this isn't one of the spots, if I can, Mr. Chairman. But what would be of importance in a simple solution for the time being is to put a crosswalk sign. You probably could get away with one on the telephone pole.
Yeah, that would be.
I have one of those in front of my house, and it really helps to identify the crosswalk.
Yeah.
The only thing is, the other pole, I'll just say it's southbound on Wynn Street. That may be close enough to the crosswalk too, to install a sign on the
Oh, yeah.
pole.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, just, it really is a matter of identifying these crosswalks so that drivers know as well as pedestrians that, there's some degree of safety. So that's your minimum
Yes,
improvement that can be made.
that would be great.
Matt, do we have one on the next crosswalk downwind? Yeah.
There's nothing going inbound on those crosswalks, but going the other way, they all have them.
Not one here.
No, there's not one there.
And also, through the chair, see that ladder grid that's right in front of Ace Hardware? I think the crosswalks on Wynn Street, all of them deserve to have that ladder design, just to make it more prevalent. Because
Visible.
again, Wynn Street is just, it's another straightaway, and it holds a lot of traffic, and speed can be a factor up there. So we could just put a couple of crosswalk signs as well as put the ladder grid like we see right there. I think that would help the situation immensely.
There's one more crosswalk down by the dealership, and that one isn't at an intersection, so that one's actually easier to get across.
Can we focus in on that little sign on the sidewalk? Is that a self or private crosswalk
I
sign?
think it's the
one.
dealership.
That's a, and in any
And
event,
Matt, just go to the last one, just while we're doing this exercise, I guess. So, just to, we can come up with a motion, whether it's crosswalk paint or crosswalk signs, just to sort of put this all together, the complete street, the tip project in the downtown really stops at Harrison Ave, so that crosswalk alignment likely changes and improves. I think as a whole, we can sort of debate whether Wynn Street should have more aggressive paint or each crosswalk across Wynn should have a sign. I don't know if we want to do that today or we want to take some time to think about what the preferred install would be, but
Yeah, let's do it today.
can't see it.
Can we barely see it? I think the ladder design is appropriate for Wynn Street with the amount of volume of traffic as well as.
I don't disagree. I'm just trying to decide how far to go, and do we do every one all the way up to,
Well, if you go the other way, they're all.
I just think we
they're
should
all
maybe
done.
address her issue today and get a couple signs up.
Too big here, we'll.
Get a couple signs up for her so
But
she feels a
as
little
soon as
better.
we put this one up, we got to do Harrison.
Well, that's, when they show up, we'll deal with
Okay.
them.
All right.
Okay, so we get,
Yeah, I just want to bring up a point. Alex, I don't know if you read it was an email memo from the state. There's a new program. They're going to be offering all municipalities a lot more stop signs in order to introduce a lot more four-way and three-way stops throughout communities where they're needed that, we really haven't gotten to yet. And one of the issues is trying to make, more pedestrian safety improvements along these ways also. So I don't know if anybody's traveled down Lexington Street recently, but that was a state project, and every crosswalk now along Lexington Street has a flashing signal, a press button for pedestrians. So that was a huge pedestrian safety improvement along Lexington Street. Not all roadways in Woburn are state highways, but this is something we're probably going to be moving in the direction of going forward. A street like Wynn Street, which is heavily traveled, it's not a state highway, but it's a heavily traveled local roadway that probably needs a lot of pedestrian safety improvements, whether they're flashing signs or just, pedestrian crossing signs. We're probably progressing towards some more,
All right. I'll make a motion to install 2 pedestrian signs crossing Wynn Street and increase the crosswalk painting impact.
in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Sixth item on the agenda, request for sign restrictions on Burlington Street for northbound vehicles, no right turn at the intersection with Thistle Road between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. and between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Is the petitioner in the room? You step up here, please, and tell us your name and address and a little about what you're asking for.
Good afternoon. My name is Ephthemios Boussios, live at 6 Thistle Road, and my nickname is Tim to make it easier on the panel. I submitted my petition requesting this turn restriction in light of safety considerations and other concerns that we have in the neighborhood. Unlike what other petitions that may have come before you in the past, I think we actually bring a solution for the council to consider, or I should say the commission to consider. We're fortunate that the timing is right at this point because in the town of Burlington, there is a new traffic signal installation that's under construction, and ground was broken yesterday, as a matter of fact, which we trust will allow for the traffic, if this restriction is permitted, to continue northbound on Burlington Street and then take a right onto Mountain Street in Burlington to end up at Wynn Street. Because currently, there are backups using that route, which cause vehicles to come through on Thistle Road in an effort to hurry through to Wynn Street. What we submit, and I say collectively, I'm joined by two of my neighbors here, along with the petitioners who signed on board, and I'm very thankful to say that for the people that I encountered and the doors that I knocked on, I had 100% approval in consideration for this restriction. And what I was most impressed by is even the folks that live on the west end of Thistle Road, who would be most impacted by this restriction, were in support of it. And some of the common things that I heard them say is the benefits outweigh the costs of having to take a longer route home. So I just wanted to make sure I put that on the record, that I'm grateful to my neighbors and fellow citizens. And I'm also grateful to Councilor DeMambro, Councilor Pappalardo, and Mr. Rozicki, who I spoke with in the lead up to today's petition being heard. One thing that I was very happy to hear, Mr. Rozicki agreed with me in that Thistle Road is not a collector road. Collector road being a road that brings you from one place to another to a main feeder road, to an arterial road, such as Wynn Street, like we just heard the discussion say, very busy, brings you to I-95 and other major arteries. So this is why we wanted to bring this petition before the commission, is that Thistle Road is not equipped for the influx of vehicles that we see, particularly between those 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. hours during the weekday. It's very problematic and troublesome. I will not stand up here and give you anecdotal speeds. I'm not in a position to do that. But I also would like to request that this be taken under serious consideration, perhaps using that technology the Woburn Police Department has for traffic volumes and average speeds, but to really listen to the concerns that we as your constituents have, that that roadway is not equipped or ever designed to handle the volume that we experience during the weekdays, particularly during that 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. time frame. Moreover, I'd like to submit the signs that I requested on our petition is found in the manual on uniform traffic control devices, and that's the reason why that particular sign was included in our petition. If it is appropriate of me to demonstrate by image, and I'll explain for the record, nearby is Colonial, I believe it's Avenue or Colonial Street, off of Wynn Street, directly across the street from Thistle Road. And that has a sign that says, "Do not enter," and then in the white block of the "Do not enter" sign, it says 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I was told that these are unenforceable. Perhaps there's a gap in the law. I think this would fall under Chapter 90, Section 16 from the police department end of the spectrum. But I was also told that the Woburn District Court doesn't appreciate these when they come in for citation appeals. So that's why we're not asking for one of these signs, because by all intents and what I've heard, they're obsolete and outdated and antiquated. So this is why we're petitioning for this sign, because this one falls under Chapter 90, Section 14, which is a easier section to reference, and I would imagine the court would not have a difficult time interpreting the elements of that statute. The other thing I would like to submit is the reason, like I just explained, the rationale behind the signage. We've also noticed around the city, particularly on Montvale Avenue at Albany Street, is a similar "Do Not Enter" sign with then the hours listed on a different posting underneath. So what we're asking is, if this 20-hour restriction across the 5-day week might be too much, then we would be willing to compromise and say, please focus on the 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. time frame, because that's the one that we're seeing the most problematic influx of traffic that's causing issues for vulnerable road users, to include children, bicyclists, and other folks on the road. And that also includes motorists as well. Again, I didn't come here to provide you with anecdotes, but I can tell you countless times traveling home, I've been passed on the left, completely unlawful and unsafe, just because of the hurry that folks are in during that time frame. And I'm just merely taking a right into my driveway to go home, but then I have a car passing me on my left. I don't think that was what was intended to happen on Thistle Road when the neighborhood was developed, and I trust the commission wouldn't want that happening on their street as well. That's essentially what I wanted to bring to the commission. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that this is not a knee-jerk reaction to a one-time incident. This is something that, to put it plainly, I did my homework on, had conversations with, canvassed my neighborhood, also spoke to people who don't live on the street but use the street for their recreation and walking, and also spoke to neighbors on abutting streets to alleviate any concerns that, well, if we award you this sign, then you'll just push the problem over to somewhere else. I trust that won't be the case, because Thistle Road is essentially the last buck where you can take the right turn to avoid the Burlington Street at Mountain Street intersection, for which, like I mentioned a short while ago, a new traffic signal construction program is currently underway, which we believe will alleviate those concerns and allow the people trying to get to I-95 and other roadways with a dedicated green light. So thank you for your time, and I'd like to answer any questions you might have, and perhaps you might be able to include my fellow neighbors who joined me. I now see 2 other households that are here in support of this petition.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Comments from the commission?
We went through something similar with this on Salem Ave, which is off of Washington Street. And I know you get your neighbors all on board, but that, they did too. And when they requested enforcement, we would go over there. And it was mostly the neighbors violating the sign law. And they got cited with money citations. They went to their alderwoman, Darlene Mercer Bruin. They actually ended up having the signs that were put up taken back down. And so that's one issue that we're the reason my sergeant's against this. The other is he would be pushing traffic onto Quimby and Sheridan, because Waze is what tells them to go down Thistle Road. And when they get caught up to the signage change, they're going to tell them to go down Quimby. Then Quimby residents are going to say, we want the same thing. Then it's going to go to Sheridan. So it's just, it is unfair. It is, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I do a lot of work over by Wyman Street. If the signs do go up, if the traffic commission does vote, and that's fine, there will be enforcement and everybody will be held accountable. It's not going to be, what I live right here, you will expect me to drive around, but I only live, that's my driveway right there. I hear it all. And then when they get the $55 ticket, they file the complaint and all the drama goes on. But as far as the police end of it's concerned, it's just, I think you are close.
Pushing the issue to a different road.
He is 100% pushing it to a different road. And
I think we spoke. I think that was a very thorough presentation, one of the best I've seen in my 7 months. I think you really put a lot of time and effort into this. I don't want to necessarily vote on this today myself. I understand there's a lot of signatures. I also want to be cognizant a lot of these signatures are not from Woburn, and they're Burlington residents. And we're going to be taking Burlington residents and pushing them onto Woburn streets potentially. And that's something that I don't know if the traffic commission really wants to deal with, Sheridan and Quimby coming at us next. And I do think in the short term, if Burlington is going forward with this traffic signal at Wynn and Mountain, you think it may alleviate. It may not be a shortcut to go through Thistle anymore once there's an appropriate traffic light and timing installed at Wynn. So this issue may get better. Again, to the officer's concerns, we typically don't start making things one way, because then that affects other people adversely. So that's really where I'm at right now. I don't feel strongly for or against. I just know that this comes back to on the other side.
If I may address the members who spoke?
Just make a comment. So when the traffic signal is put in place at Mountain and Wynn, it's going to make traffic better for that intersection. People, I use it all the time. I'm going to be able to take that left going towards the highway, easier and safer. I could take a right, but I'm not really going to take a right. I hardly ever go to that Dunkin' Donuts, but a lot of people go out there, they take a left. It's a tough intersection to deal with. I use this thing almost on a daily basis. I use that route of traffic. I don't really go down Thistle in that area, but when you start closing off one road for the benefit of one group, you exacerbate the traffic problem in another. Every time you close a road, it's just like chemistry. For every action, there's a reaction. So we're gonna close down, this route of travel, and you're gonna have more on Mountain leading out to Wynn. Now, with the signalized intersection, it'll handle more traffic, but still, when the traffic signal's in place, you're gonna have less traffic on Thistle because people are gonna now be able to rely on the traffic signal, allowing for them to safely enter and exit off of that roadway, Mountain Road. So I think the solution's going to be the traffic signal being put in there, because that's going to alleviate a lot of the unsafetiness of that, if that is a word, but of that intersection. And then you end up with less traffic in the roadways you're concerned. But every time you close down a roadway system, it creates problems for the other road. So I'm really, unless it's absolutely necessary, I'm never in favor of closing down a roadway network. And I'm not in favor of cul-de-sacs. That's another thing that in the planning field, we've recognized we want to get away from. People want to live in cul-de-sacs, but it's not the best way to develop a community. It's one of the worst ways, but they created these cul-de-sacs. Certain people love the cul-de-sac, but it doesn't do anything for better flows of traffic. And there's a lot of other psychological issues with cul-de-sacs that I won't bother getting into.
Yeah, so I think if you do want to respond, or anyone else has any comments, I'm more than willing to hear them. I do want to reiterate that no one signed this petition from the two abutting streets that would take all the traffic. So it's a pretty selective group of signatures.
I can go in order, or I could go to the last speaker. I just want to follow the Roberts rules and everything. The last speaker, sir? I can address the last speaker?
Okay, good.
Yep. So, Mr. Rozicki, it is an impulsive reaction to suggest that. It's one that's difficult to disagree with, but I've sat in that intersection myself and watched it. I utilize the intersection as well, to and from our comings and goings. The traffic that's coming towards the intersection of Willow at Burlington Street and then taking that right turn onto Thistle Road to hurry to Wynn Street, the vehicles are outnumbered on Willow Street. And that's something I can't give you data. I don't have engineering systems or programs to provide you with concrete numbers. But just like when this commission and some of the members who were charged with reviewing the new stop sign that was recently implemented, for which we appreciate, it was discovered and it's widely known that Willow Street is handling most of that traffic coming from the Four Corners and from Cambridge Street. So again, it's anecdotal to say that it's going to flush over to Quimby and Sheridan. Those streets are more narrow. Those streets, which I run and walk essentially on a daily basis, the neighbors there park their streets parallel to their lots, so it creates a constricted roadway, and it's just not an easy road to navigate. Thistle Road is different just in its dynamic and in its design. It's an S-curved road. There are blind driveways. There are other roadways like Randall. Again, they may be in Burlington, but they're being fed in from Woburn. That's why we're here. If it was a Burlington issue, I would be at the Burlington Town Hall. The issue rests with the city of Woburn to help alleviate these concerns for both Woburn residents and Burlington residents. And if I am not mistaken, every one of us that lives on Thistle Road also receives a tax statement from the city of Woburn, which we gladly, meet our obligations. My family, just unique to me, we use the Woburn Library. I've never set foot in the Burlington Library. We worship at both the Greek Orthodox Church in Woburn and St. Charles, where my sons go to CCD. So we are coming here as constituents that have a stakeholdership in the city of Woburn. But more importantly, we're here because you can alleviate these concerns that we have, and we believe that they're valid, and we also believe that they're substantive. So just to address your concern, Mr. Rozicki, it's Thistle Road's problem, which is why I knocked on over 40 doors in that area. I don't believe that the traffic will be shuffled to Sheridan and to Quimby. I don't want that for them either, because I know those cars are coming from Willow, and then instead of staying true to the collector road, being Burlington Street, and then onto Mountain towards Wynn, they're taking Thistle, because like I was mentioning earlier, that's the last stop, it's the last buck. And that's why I think we're experiencing this influx, and we just thought now was the most appropriate time to address this in light of the new construction at Wynn and Mountain in Burlington, which ground was broken yesterday. The construction was out there today. So I definitely appreciate your considerations, Mr. Rozicki, and like I said, your conversation with me was awesome, and I was really happy to know that you agreed that my interpretation of the definition of a collector road didn't satisfy that criteria for Thistle Road, which we don't believe it is. It's not designed for that influx we see. Officer Gately, I definitely appreciate what you said. Professionally, we come from the same background, so that's why I can come in here and I understand what the chapter and sections may or may not apply. And I also understand that this is a blanket restriction if awarded. And I can assure you and the rest of the commission members that I was very clear about that with everyone that I encountered. And that's why I put the sign on top of my petition, so that I not only told them what we were petitioning, I showed them. And everybody, again, was still 100% on board. And the common theme that I heard repeatedly was the benefits outweigh the costs. And I was astounded, especially by the west end of the road's residents, like the Haggertys and others. I was very grateful to them. So I appreciate your thoughts as well, and I want you to know that I completely understand where the police department's position on this may be, but I made it clear that it would be a blanket restriction for all road users.
I wonder if it's best to see how this light works out,
that was
and
gonna be
then,
my motion.
and then revisit this. I mean, he does have a great point that Willow Street is where all the traffic is coming from, but,
How far out is that light coming in on the Burlington?
they were working on it today.
The groundbreaking was yesterday, and I walked by there. My wife and I walk essentially every day, weather permitting, and we were very grateful to see that the construction is currently underway. Last time I read up on an update, the contract was supposed to have the completion date of October 16th, but that we know how that works. It could go a little later, it could go a little sooner, but this is why we thought that this timing was right. And in fact, an unintended consequence of not having a summer meeting was actually to our benefit, because now we can demonstrate that the solution on Wynn Street is currently underway. It's not a wish or a hope, it's happening. So all we're asking for is just the mandate, if that's not too strong of a word, to compel traffic at those peak influx times. Essentially, we're only asking for 10 hours a week. It won't impede with police, fire, EMS. There are no school bus routes. That research was also conducted. And I think it would be a really fair and equitable way to address the traffic concerns in light of all the other restrictions that we are surrounded by. Because some of these antiquated signs, like I've shown, be it as they may not be, enforceable, or the Woburn District Court doesn't like them, they're still standing. And Thistle Road is essentially carrying the burden that other streets aren't. So we just wanted to have some fairness and an equitable resolution reached for everyone.
Okay, all right, I think we get your point. You've made some great points along the way. So what is the will of the board here? What would we like to, how do we want to proceed?
Yeah, I think we spoke. I think it's a fair request. I did say when we started, I would be hesitant to vote today. I think this is a big decision to decide to push traffic, but I am open to making a motion perhaps that after the traffic light has been installed, we kind of watch it, see if that helps. We maybe increase selective enforcement if it's a speed issue. If it's a traffic issue, I do have a problem with just the dynamic. You made an excellent point with Willow. Imagining someone taking a right and then a left is hard to imagine. That's another great point. You clearly did your homework. I guess I would leave here saying let's table this, but revisit it at a certain date after, during we get peak traffic, after the traffic signal during a school season. I'm open to whatever date you want to hear it back, or whatever date the other members want to hear, but go ahead.
Mr. DeMembro?
It was a phenomenal presentation. You did a marvelous job. I agree with the engineer. I think what we need to do is see how that light works out. And the reason why I'm saying that is because even if you were to take and you go down Willow and you go up Thistle, if that light's over there, it's a safer left-hand turn coming out of Mountain once that light's installed, correct? We agree on that.
I think it
For
will
you
be
to take and
beneficial.
come out
Yeah.
of Thistle and take a left without a light, that's kind of a rip there. I mean, that's a straightaway. People are honking it. They're going pretty fast. So if it was me, I would take the safe approach. And if the traffic is in fact coming all down Willow, they also have an opportunity to take a right onto Bedford and bring it down to Wynn Street. But I understand it is further and it's kind of closer to the center. So if you want to go up to Burlington, you would need to take and go Willow, Burlington to Mountain. And I believe that light is going to alleviate a lot of that, and it's going to be a heck of a lot safer. I would also add, I believe that if people are ripping up and down Thistle, and it's a Burlington street, I would ask that Burlington's police department put a patrol car over there during the peak hours, especially in the morning and in the evening commutes, and they should be policing that and monitoring that. Because again, to your point, you're kind of in between Woburn and Burlington, but it's a Burlington street. I would suggest that Burlington patrol that street and put a unit up there, especially, and once people realize that there's a unit up there and they're tagging cars left and right, people are less apt to go down that street, as well as, like I said, the traffic light. So I'm in line with the engineer, Alex, that I think we need to see what that light does. It's only, a month away. You said October 14th, they believe completion of that light, and let's see what brings with that, as well as reaching out to the Burlington Police Department and having them send a unit up there during the peak hours to slow it down up there, especially for the people and the residents that live on that street, like yourself, exiting and entering your driveway. That's what I would absolutely recommend.
Okay, can we get a motion?
So why don't we make a motion to keep this on our current agenda? I don't think you'd need to come to the next meeting, but given that the light might be done, maybe we talk a month after that to see it in action. So I make a motion to, I don't know how to keep it on the agenda, take no action. but
November meeting?
I'd make a motion to table this request for a month.
I will say there may be points for consideration that I may not have raised that my neighbors may have, if it was just appropriate. Again, under the Roberts rules and parliamentary rules, if it's appropriate to have this petition supplemented by those who also were signatories to it.
He'll ask if there's any other public comment, right?
This is not, that's not what this forum is designed for, right? If the group would like to have public commentary, we can do that. We can change the orientation.
If people came out to speak, I'm not going to waste their time, but I think we've all come to the same conclusion. This is something worth looking into. Again, it's tough to start closing off streets left and right. I think the traffic light will help, and even if we talk in a month and the traffic light went in, we could speak to MassDOT to have the timing of that traffic light alternate so that Mountain Ave gets more of a green light than Wynn Street. If it's not working, we could change that balance and that timing to increase the opportunity to go to Mountain so that side roads are not becoming cut-throughs. So I think you've obviously done a fabulous job. I don't want to dismiss this request. I think the city does not typically install things like this, but I hear you, and I think we just take a month at a time and see how things go from there.
I appreciate this.
So I'll make a motion to table this to our October meeting. Do we have an October meeting?
All in favor of that? Opposed? That passes.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda number 7, request for traffic signage as required by the Zoning Board of Appeals for 57 Mill Street on Mill Street.
Hi, could you state your name and address, please?
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Attorney Jesse Schomer. I represent Mill Street Development, LLC, the owner and developer of the Mill Street Apartments development project at 57 Mill Street. We're here tonight, Mr. Chair, to request the placement of 4 not a throughway signs at locations that were specified in the comprehensive permit issued by the Zoning Board of Appeals for this project at specific locations that they had identified, as well as 4 no parking signs along the frontage of Mill Street, 2 on each side of the road, in front of the proposed project site. The concern and the reason why the Zoning Board of Appeals had requested that the signs be placed is concern that vehicles and neighbors in the area would use Mill Street as a cut-through to go from Washington to Salem Street, which is currently possible now because of the Mill Street Gardens apartment development, which the same developer also owns and operates. There's a parking lot there that's just to the left, as it were, of I-93, where it's possible to actually go from Mill Street through the apartments complex parking lot to get out to Salem Street. So that was a particular concern of the zoning board, that the new residents of this building, which is coming near completion, we expected it to have occupancy sometime this fall, we're hoping. The concern of the zoning board was to avoid all those new vehicles using this as a cut-through to go between Mill Street and Salem Street. So to that end, we have proposed the 4 not a throughway signs as well as the no parking signs on Mill Street itself. In addition to that, as a secondary measure, the zoning board requested, and we agreed to place a gate actually on private property, the Mill Street Gardens property, to prevent the throughway access. So we're really belt and suspendering the problems, if that's a word, to really prevent that cut-through access there to Mill Street. I have 2 paper copies of the submission. It includes a civil site plan showing the locations of the signs, but I'm happy to walk through those with the commission. The specific locations for the not a throughway sign, you see the first one on the screen there, which is at the corner of Washington Street and Mill Street. The next one is at Washington Terrace and Mill Street. This is the no parking signs in front of the project site here. I think if you go to the next page of the plan, that'll show the next one. This one, this is actually the proposed sign at Salem and the entrance to the Mill Street Gardens apartment complex. And then if you go to the, yep, there's the next one down there. That's the corner of Salem Street, and that's Salem Avenue and the entrance to the Woburn Gardens apartment complex. And then the last one is at Washington Terrace and Mill.
So just so I understand, that there will not be the ability to go through anymore because there'll be a gate.
Correct.
And this is a request of the zoning board, and it looks like the developer will be paying for the signage installs, so this is a procedural issue for the traffic commission, as I understand it.
That's exactly right.
All right, I'll make a motion to have the signs installed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Looks like we have completed our agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Do we need to just say the date of our next meeting for the last petitioner for the record? I don't say what our next meeting is.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Should we say when our next meeting is before we adjourn?
I don't know the date of the next meeting.
I don't have my phone. Because we tabled our last issue till then, but I probably should have said till our October 20 whatever meeting, but
What's Wednesday?
It's the third
When-
third Thursday of the month. I don't-
Thursday of the month?
16th.
16th?
Okay.
October 16th.
okay. All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.